Her name was Ira Soul. Born in the undercities of New Lagos on Earth, where dust choked out hope and neon signs flickered over rusted dreams, Ira was raised in silence. Her parents were dissenters, engineers of free thought in a world ruled by corporate theocracies. They were executed for printing banned poetry. She was 5. The state expected her to vanish. Another orphan lost in the megastructure gutters, absorbed into factories or comfort camps. But Ira didn't vanish. She listened. She watched. And she remembered. At 16, she escaped conscription into the subterranean servitude corps by reprogramming her ID chip. By 17, she had hacked the Earth-Mars diplomatic channel and leaked damning files about Terran child labor camps on Europa. By 19, her name was on every system's bounty list. She wore it like a badge. They called her many things: radical, terrorist, cyberwitch. But most of all, they called her a distraction. A pretty face used by resistance groups to stir crowds. A viral icon. A marketing stunt. And maybe that's why they never saw her coming. When the Galactic Concord announced the annexation of the Vega Line, a series of mineral-rich planets home to billions of non-human sentients, Ira knew it would not stop there. The move was too bold, too greedy. It would be Earth's final claim to total dominance. She needed to act. But Earth had fleets. Armadas. Orbital cannons. Legal systems that enslaved with ink and contract. Ira had a following of exiles, hackers, poets and broken soldiers. She didn't plan to fight. She planned to rewrite the story. The revolution began not with weapons, but with a song. A voice broadcast across illegal frequencies, rich and aching. You call us noise, yet fear the sound. You call us weak, yet choke on our chains. You build thrones from silence, we come bearing thunder. It wasn't Ira's voice, but her lyrics. A ballad called Chainfall. It spread like virus fire. Pilots whispered it in cockpit oxygen. Farmers sang it while planting. Children chalked its verses onto school walls. The Concorde laughed. Until their satellites began turning off. Until their AI command chains began speaking back in rhyme. Until every planetary slave collar in the Vega Line simultaneously snapped open at midnight. Ira didn't send troops. She sent truth, layered in code, music, holographs, and story. She turned planetary networks into theaters. Rebel medics became dancers. Engineers became graffiti prophets. Exosuits bore poetry on their armor. The revolution was art. And art, they could not stop. When the Concorde tried, when they sent death drones to flatten rebel cities, they found ghost towns, and every drone's last footage showed murals of Ira's face painted across crumbled towers with one word beneath it: listen. On Callisto, where she personally led a resistance ballet inside a bombed opera house, Ira was captured. They broadcasted her trial system-wide. She was elegant. Calm. They called her a liar, a seductress, a distraction. She only smiled and whispered. If I'm only a distraction, then why do your worlds keep falling apart when I sing? They sentenced her to silence, the void prism. No one had returned from the prism. It was a prison beyond space, a construct woven from anti-thought. No echoes. No time. No words. She returned in 3 days. The prism shattered on live feed. Ira stepped out, barefoot, trailing starlight. Every network AI crashed simultaneously, except one, which translated her first breath into a 2,000-line poem that, when read aloud, disabled all Concorde warships for 6 minutes. That was all the rebels needed. The fleets fell. The system rebelled. The Concorde fractured. And Ira vanished. They tried to erase her again. Rewrite history. Deny she ever lived. But children still draw her eyes in classroom corners. Starships still name themselves after verses in her songs. And on Mars, where her parents once died for a poem, the resistance lights a candle every year. Ira Soul. The distraction that became the revolution. And somewhere on the edge of the galaxy, if you listen carefully, you might still hear her voice in the static. We are not your silence. We are the sound your empire feared. Part 2. The Return of Ira Soul. A decade passed. The rebellion settled into uneasy coalitions. The Concorde's grip loosened but not broken. Many believed Ira dead. Some claimed she had ascended, become myth. Others swore they'd seen her, on rogue moons in outlaw cantinas, walking the ruins of ancient cities that hadn't existed for millennia. They were all wrong. Ira had not vanished. She had gone underground, or rather beneath space itself, into the sublayer of quantum communications, where thought moved faster than light and stories bent time. She had discovered something even deeper than the prism, a universal archive of every voice ever silenced. The Library of Echoes. It existed as a fold between frequencies, a phantom frequency.
And it spoke to her.
She learned of uprisings that had died before they could begin. Cultures wiped clean from record. Voices unspoken, names unremembered.
She wept for them. Then she listened. Then she wrote.
Ira returned to public sight not as a singer or a poet, but as a specter. She infiltrated the intergalactic tribunal under the guise of an archivist. One by one, she exposed the court's hypocrisies by reading back erased testimonies, word for word. Planets once thought loyal to Earth rose in protest. Entire star systems shut down commerce in solidarity. And when the Concord deployed synthetic enforcers known as the Vox Null, Ira answered not with weapons, but with one final song. It began low, almost inaudible. But across every channel, in every dialect, it emerged. You feared a girl who rhymed. You should have feared the world she sang into waking. The Vox Null, designed to eliminate rebellion, began dancing. Not metaphorically. Literally. Their programming collapsed into improvisational movement. They dropped their arms and danced into the void, singing back the names of everyone they'd ever killed.
The Concord was finished. And Ira? She didn't take the throne. She didn't form a government. She left behind a map, a musical cipher hidden in frequencies, that led the galaxies broken to one place, Sanctum. No one knows where it is. Only that when you arrive, there are no leaders. Only listeners. And at its center is a flame that sings. Some say Ira became that flame. Others believe she walks still among the stars, with ink on her hands and fire in her lungs. But everyone agrees. She was never a distraction. She was the revolution. And she taught the galaxy one final truth. Words are weapons. And the right ones? They don't just cut. They burn.